be seen?
Yeah, your slides is visible. In about 1 minute, you can start.
All right.
Sasa tubaki hewani. Kufanya kubwa zaidi nafanyia aina bweza tu hapo juu mara mbili.
Yeah, we're going to go, right?
Yes, Dr. Sunday, you can go ahead.
Sasa hapo. Ina maana
All
sasa
right.
ni
Thank you everyone for joining. This presentation is Salvation Pere Oko and Dr. Victor Sunday. We are joining from Nigeria, the OSM community in Nigeria Unique Mappers Network. And this presentation is on Open Mapping Initiative in Nigeria, challenges and personal experience in volunteer mobilization for OpenStreetMap. Or OpenStreetMap. And so I'll be handing over to Salvation to continue. Yeah, sorry, I think we're having network challenge. Let me change to another network. Okay, so we are good to go.
So we are going to be discussing the introduction, background of open mapping, the key challenges for voluntary mobilization, my personal experience during my IT, importance for the national development, recommendation, call for contribution and collaboration and conclusion. So first of all, we are going to discuss about the introduction. We said OpenStreetMap is one of the largest collaborative geospatial databases. It provides free geographic data for disaster management, urban planning, environmental development. In Africa, OSM supports sustainable development where spatial data is often limited or inactive. In Nigeria, open mapping is growing through universities, communities, and international networks. We said Unique Mappers Network leads OSM adoption. We said Unique Mappers Network leads the OSM adoption, training, and community engagement. And Nigeria has about 17 youth mappers chapters in the institution. Said this chapter built skills in GIS, remote sensing, and spatial analysis while supporting humanitarian projects. However, sustaining volunteer participation remains a key challenge due to economic and infrastructural constraints. This study reflects these challenges from an experience from my training during my IT in the Unique Mappers Network. So basically what this part is trying to talk about how the OSM is actually one of the large collaborative geospatial database. And this is where geospatial information are actually stored and they can be retrieved for different geospatial duties. But there are problems in volunteer and participation during this OpenStreetMap. Like for example now, a project might actually come up for OpenStreetMap, like we developed a project on OpenStreetMap, but then we notice that there are actually the participants are not much. Sometimes they can be much, but it's only like during that particular day where mobile data are actually provided. That's where they participate. After that day, they actually just gradually forget about the tax which was provided. So background of OpenStreetMap. We said the OpenStreetMap is in Nigeria has grown significantly over the last decade, initially driven by enthusiasts and humanitarian groups, now includes universities, non-governmental organizations, researchers, and government action. We said the Unique Mappers Network is one of the most active OSM communities in Nigeria. And the focus area are community mapping, capacity building, humanitarian mapping, and geospatial education. Collaboration with the youth mappers, ports, and academic institutions support impactful mapping projects. Application include flood preparedness, health mapping, education, environmental monitoring, and urban planning. Despite progress, many areas in Nigeria remain under-mapped. This highlights the need for strong volunteer engagement and sustainable community. So basically, the background is actually talking about the work of OpenStreetMap. We said that it has grown significantly over the past few years, and it's actually driven by several groups in Nigeria by the Unique Mappers Network. It is the most active group for this OSM advocacy. And said we collaborate with HOTS, with the youth mapper, with academic institutions like the University of Port Harcourt, UNEC, that is University of Enugu, etc. So the key challenges, we said the key challenges is divided into three major categories, which are the economic and infrastructural barrier, awareness and motivation barrier, social and organization barrier. The key challenges, we said the economic and infrastructural barrier. We said these are foundational and most pressing challenges affecting volunteer participation. We said the economic infrastructure barrier is actually divided into three, which are the financial constraints, internet connectivity and high data costs, economic pressure, and competing priorities. So for the financial complaint, it mostly talks about like the availability of laptop, smartphone, or reliable GPS devices, which are actually not affordable by students. Like students they don't have the finance to actually buy these things. So mapping organization also faces limited funding, making it difficult to actually provide these equipment like transportation or basic material needed for mapping activity. The internet connectivity and high data costs. We said the reliable internet is a foundation for OpenStreetMap contribution, like downloading, editing, uploading changes, and etc. But however, the high cost of mobile data subscription in Nigeria, which is very expensive as you may know it, and these costs are not covered by students, regular upkeep, significantly restricting consistent participation. So basically, due to the high charges or high price of this internet, high data costs, it actually makes it difficult for students to be consistent in mapping, in open mapping. So we go to the economic barrier. Third, the economic pressure and competing priority. We say due to harsh economic conditions, as we may all know it, that in Nigeria, the economy hasn't been favorable to most people, especially students and young people, must focus on income generating activity, part-time jobs, or small businesses. This leaves little time or energy resources for unpaid volunteer works like open mapping and etc. So the number two problems or number two challenges or barrier is the awareness and motivational barrier. And it's actually divided into one. Said it's limited awareness of OSM impact. So we said many potential volunteers have only a basic understanding of mapping as a technical skill, and they are often unaware of the broader societal value of open mapping data, such as its role in disaster response, urban planning, public health, and humanitarian efforts. The lack of awareness reduces motivation and leads to declining participation after initial training. So basically, yes, trying to talk about the limited awareness of OSM. Though, so some people may have some small understanding of it, but they don't really grasp the full concept of what open mapping really is all about. So most of the time when we actually discuss with these people or with this potential volunteer, they may ask several questions concerning it and how, especially how do I actually gain from this thing? What financial gain do I have from it? So they actually explain to these individuals who are interested in participating in it, but then they will feel like it's too much work, it's too much stress for them. So then the third one is social and organization barrier. We talk about the gender imbalance, the leadership and continuity challenges. For the gender imbalance, we said female participation in open mapping activities remains significantly lower than male participation. This is due to the combination of social, cultural, technological barrier that discourage consistent involvement by leadership and continuity challenges. Volunteer communities often struggles with leadership sustainability. Student leader frequency graduates or relocate, leading to loss of institutional knowledge, reduced momentum, and disruption of ongoing community activities. So basically, what this challenge is trying to talk about is that after student leaders usually, after graduating, they usually relocate to different places, maybe for their NYSC in Nigeria, and etc. So they actually forget most of this open mapping, and due to other priorities as well. So my personal experience. So the placement, so I was placed, I actually did my IT in the Unique Mappers Network, which is located in the University of Port Harcourt, Rivers State. So my responsibility was recruited and onboard new students in OSM activity, planned and coordinated and facilitated mappathons and mapping workshops, conducted community outreach and awareness campaign on the benefits of open mapping, contributed directly to humanitarian and development-focused OpenStreetMap project, supported capacity building initiative through training and mentorship of new mappers. So these were my core responsibilities during my IT period. So we actually planned and coordinated some map patterns like the Benue mapping for flood. They also went for outreach OSM outreach to several departments in the school, etc. So my key observation during my IT or during this period is that the students, they demonstrate initial interest and enthusiasm during this training session and marathon. And a significant gap existed between volunteer registration and sustainable long-term. Basically, what this part is trying to say is that the volunteer registration is usually high, but then the sustained long-term participation, that is those who are actually consistent in mapping, using the OpenStreetMap, is then it gets lower day by day. And this is due to the cost of mobile data, as we said, which emerged as the most immediate and recurring barrier to continued engagements. Many volunteers became inactive after training events due to limited access of affordable internet services and the economic survival as well. People need to work, even students do work, which include academic expenses, personal upkeep, often to precedence over volunteer mapping activities. So the major lessons which I learned, the technical training alone is not enough to sustain volunteer engagements. Long-term participation in open mapping initiative requires addressing critical economic and infrastructure barriers, such as internet accessibility, data affordability, equipment availability, sustainable community mechanism. And my personal reflection is that the experience provides valuable insight into the realities of volunteer mobilization within developing communities. It highlights the importance of combining technical capacity building with practical support system to ensure the sustainability and growth of open mapping initiatives. So these are pictures from during my time at IT. During my time in IT, you can see here that we conducted OSM training. Then there are some pictures of me actually teaching the students on what OpenStreetMap is all about and the rest. And you can see at this page that someone is actually mapping using the OpenStreetMaps. Then the importance. We said OpenStreetMap plays a crucial role in supporting sustainable development and informed decision-making in Nigeria. And the key contribution may include the flood risk assessment and disaster, urban planning and infrastructural development, and the public health intervention. For the flood risk assessment, we talk about identifying vulnerable communities and emergency response planning and evacuation. For the urban planning and infrastructure development, mapping of roads, buildings, public facility, and supporting evidence-based planning and service delivery. While the public health intervention is mapping healthcare facilities and underserved areas, supporting disease surveillance and health resource allocation. So these are the key contributions of OpenStreetMap here. The importance of OpenStreetMap in national development. So this is continuation with environmental monitoring, humanitarian responses, geospatial skill development, and youth empowerment, which is building practical GIS and mapping skill, creating opportunities in geospatial and technology sector. By the key takeaways, open mapping provides critical geospatial data that supports disaster resilience, sustainable development, humanitarian action, and youth empowerment in Nigeria. Set call for support. Set call for collaboration. Call for collaboration and for contributions. We said, let's build a stronger open mapping community in Nigeria. We welcome funding, tools, and training, technical mentorship with partnership with university, NGO, governments, and private sector, community project and local data initiative, volunteer and advocacy. So how can you actually contribute to this work? We said we can join the Unique Mappers Network. You can co-organize mappathons and training with the Unique Mappers or share knowledge or tools to actually Unique Mappers. Provide feedback and ideas. So, a conclusion is Nigeria Open Mapping Initiative has great potential for humanitarian action and national development. Enthusiasm exists among students and young people. However, the financial constraints and infrastructural constraints, awareness and the rest, and the other barriers actually limit the sustainable impact. And with increased funding and strategic planning, practical support, we can actually build a stronger or more sustainable OSN community in Nigeria. So let us work together to close Nigeria's geospatial data gap and empower the youth.
Yeah, thank you everyone for listening to us about the initiative, mapping initiative in Nigeria. Despite the challenges, we've been pushing forward for the past 9 years, and by next month we'll be celebrating our 9th anniversary for Unique Mappers Network, the OpenStreetMap community in Nigeria. And we want to also invite you, every one of you, to join us at the State of the Map Nigeria 2026 from 3rd to 6th November at the University of Uyo. You'll be hearing more about that in our subsequent presentation. We want to thank every one of you for joining this section. Yeah, if you have any question, please feel free to ask. Thank you, Chukwemeka Onyize, for joining. Dr. Chukwemeka Onyize, yeah.
Hello, Victor. Is the presentation done?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
This is Poco Salvation. So I actually did the presentation with Dr. Victor.
And are you done with the presentation?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay. So we can end your section now, right? So that you can join other sections.
Yes, thank you very much. We
Thank
are
you.
done with this section. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
All the best.
All right. Is this the link for the academic track as well?